This is the history of the Philippines. This is a map and the official hyperlink. Historical development of the state. Pre-Spanish rule, the first people we believe to be in the Philippines were called the Negritos. Supposedly they came 30,000 years ago from Borneo and Sumatra across then existing land bridges. People from Malay stock came from the south in successive waves, some by land bridges and other by boats. They scattered in communities and they were led by chieftains. Then Chinese merchants and traders arrived to the Philippines to settle in the 9th century AD. In the 14th century, Arabs settled in the Philippines, which introduced Islam to the south. Malays remained the dominant group up until the Spanish arrived in the 16th century. This is the main ethnic groups in the Philippines. The remaining percentage of the Philippines populations are small and minor ethnic groups that aren't included in the people. Political regime. The Philippine government takes a place in an organized framework of presidential, representative, and democratic republic. The president is both the head of state and the head of government. The government is much like the U.S. They revolves around three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. The executive branch is directed by the president, which is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in the Philippines. The president is elected by popular vote and has a term of 6 years. The president selects their own cabinet members. The executive seat of government is administered officially by the Malacanang Palace, which is the official residence of the president. The vice president is the second highest official. If the position is vacant, the president can appoint any member of Congress. The legislative branch is for the remainder of the House seats, which are designated for sectoral representatives. They are elected through a complex system party list. These representatives are elected with a term of 3 years. They can no longer run for a fourth consecutive term. The senators are elected for terms up to 6 years and can't run for a third consecutive term. The judiciary branch is the last branch of government, which is directed by the Supreme Court, with a Chief Justice as its head and 14 other associate justices, which are all appointed by the president. As early as the 1970s, the Philippines has been in a political dispute over the South China Sea with China, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, and Vietnam. The sea has an estimated 11 billion barrels of untapped oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. In 2023, the Chinese Coast Guard began to deploy vessels with dangerous tactics to mess with the Philippine resupply missions. This ends up leading to heightened crashes, which have grown increasingly common. Increasing more conflict with the Philippines, the Chinese Coast Guard used a military-grade laser to continuously fire water cannons targeted against the Philippine ships. It's been said that the Dutertes have brought thuggish culture of provincial warlordism, which is a culture of private armies and gangster families that have plagued most of the Philippines for over half a century to the national and international range. The Philippine political economy is characterized by a mix of democratic institutions, a market-based economy with a government intervention, and a history of challenges related to political dynasties, corruption, and inequality. Recent economic growth has been impressive, but vulnerabilities remain, especially in governance, public sector efficiency, and social development. As higher interest rates continue to affect private consumption and investment, economic growth will remain modest and the country will remain vulnerable. The current president of the Philippines, President Marcos Jr., has declared that he would maintain economic cooperation with China and the U.S. at the same time. The country adopted a new balancing strategy to defend its national interests in the face of strategic competition between the U.S. and the Indo-Pacific region. The Philippines is the third largest English-speaking country in the world. Most of the population lives on the 11 main islands. The Philippines has a history of combining Asian, European, and American influences. They are a collective society, which is when the needs of family is prioritized over the needs of the individual. More than 86% of the population is Roman Catholic. Although there is a Christian majority, there is a 4% Muslim minority with some other minor ethnic groups. The country has had some trouble with relationship between state and society. It faces challenges like maintaining authority and legitimacy. This is the pie chart that I made with the religions. So most of it is the Catholic Church, and the other religions is orange, like smaller minor ethnic groups, and green is Islam, and then yellow is, I can't pronounce it, it's like Iglesia Ni Cristo, Aglape, and Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Philippine, this is for foreign policy. The Philippine Constitution frames the Philippine foreign policy. The most important are: the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, and adheres to the policy of peace, equality, and justice. As well as, the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy in its relations with foreign states. The paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. Relations. The Philippines is actively affiliated with and is one of the founding members, along with Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, of the ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and aims to promote regional stability, cooperation, formed on August 8, 1967. The Philippines does have an alliance with the U.S., the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, and it remains a cornerstone of their relationship. At the same time, the Philippines has developed a significant economic tie with China. Current issues. In recent years, the war on drugs initiated by former President Rodrigo Duterte, 2016 to 2022, resulted in a significant number of deaths, with concerns that the police were falsifying evidence. Duterte was arrested with an ICC, International Criminal Court warrant. He's facing crimes against humanity. His daughter, Sara Duterte, is current Philippines vice president, and since 2024 has been causing issues with the current president of the Philippines with the reported threats of assassination, military coups, and impeachment. Citizens in the Philippines have been getting red tagged, which is when individuals and groups are accused of being communists or communist sympathizers, shrinking freedom of expression, and spreading harassment and violence. In recent years, the Philippines has fallen under the attack of multiple cyber attacks, which remains to be a high concern for the citizens. And these are like